Hello everyone, welcome and thank you for joining my session today. Today I'm going to share with you the topic Simplify your cash flow planning with SAP S/4HANA and SAP Analytics Cloud. Let's have a look at today's agenda. First of all, SAP Analytics Cloud will be introduced. This is especially to get clarity regarding what SEC is in the first place, what is the difference between cloud solutions and on-premise solution. I will also give information on components of SEC, data connectivity, etc. Afterwards, we want to jump directly into SEC, using a real example to show you the structure of the SEC, as well as the functionality should become more apparent. We will then move on to the innovations of cash management in S/4HANA. At this point, I want to focus in particular on the areas of bank account management, cash operations, liquidity management, and forecast and analysis with Fiori Apps. We don't want to rest on a theoretical level, but also to take a look at the innovations that go hand in hand with Fiori Apps. So last but not least, we will jump into Fiori to get to know couples of the apps there within cash management. A brief introduction of myself. My name is Jennie Yichao Xu, and I have gained experiences in particular as an SAP controlling application consultant in the last 4.5 years in new GL implementation, S/4HANA implementation via greenfield approach, business unit merger, data migration, and system landscape harmonization. And before that, through my stay at Volkswagen in China as a product cost controller, I was able to gain the perspective from the business unit point of view as well. With today's topic, I would like to start with the introduction of SAP Analytics Cloud. SAP Analytics Cloud is known by the abbreviation SEC. SAP Analytics for Cloud is cloud SaaS-based business intelligence tool provided by SAP, which means software as a service. It was formerly known as Business Objects for Cloud. It provides all the key functionalities of an analytic tool to SAP business users. The tool converts the raw data from transactional system into meaningful insight for making better decisions. The functional components of SEC can be divided up into 4 areas. Business intelligence, where it is about data preparation and reporting. Planning, where it is about distribute and simulation. Predictive analytics for foresight and automated analysis. And application design for complex applications as well as SDK extensions. There are 2 ways to bring data from source system into the SAC, either via live connection or via import connection. With live connection, no sensitive data is saved in the cloud, but is retrieved from the data source at the time of story execution. Advantages of the live connections are, for example, reduced data volume, faster data processing, and real time. Transfer of sensitive data to the cloud is not possible. And to use the live connection, one of the following data sources is required: SAP HANA, SAP Business Warehouse, SAP BV for HANA, SAP S/4HANA, SAP Business Objects Universes, SAP Business Planning and Consolidation Embedded, SAP S/4HANA Cloud, SAP Cloud Platform. Alternatively, the import connection can also be used. With the import connection, data from the source system is replicated to SAP Analytics Cloud even before the story is created. Since SAP Analytics Cloud has its own database, completely data models can be created in the cloud. You can fetch data from different sources. Business users can compile the data, perform the data discovery, do ad hoc reporting, and analysis to support predictive planning. Due to its technical nature, the import connection offers a much broader selection of data sources. And due to time reasons, I will not list them all, but in addition to the connectors of the live connections, there are SAP SuccessFactors, SAP Concur, SAP Fieldglass, Google Drive, Google Sheets, Google BigQuery, Salesforce, and so on. Ultimately, when deciding on whether live connection or import connection, you need to ask yourself the following questions. Is sensitive data allowed to be replicated to the cloud? Does the desired data source support a live or import connection? Is an authorization system already modeled in the data source? Is the full feature set of SEC needed for the use case? How often is the data updated? And how current does the data in a story need to be? But what is the difference between the cloud solution and the on-premise solution? On-premise solutions from SAP in the area of analytics only cover individual aspects of business analytics. For example, for complex dashboards, the SAP Lumira Designer solution is offered. With this application, user can create reports using scripting language and highly customize them. For the area of planning, SAP offers the SAP Business Planning and Consolidation solution. The field of predictive analytics can be processed by SAP Predictive Analytics solution, which is designed to give user easier access to data science tools and the associated statistical methods. In addition, on-premise solutions are installed and maintained by the customer. Over time, the provider releases updates for new product versions, which contains corrections or new functions. The customer in this case is free to decide whether and when to adapt and to roll out new versions of a software. In the case of a cloud solution, SAP Analytics Cloud provider takes over the installation, provision, and maintenance of the software. The customer is only provided with access, which they use to access solution from a front end. The product is currently updated by SAP every 2 weeks with the latest functionalities and corrections. However, this update frequency is only maintained on partner systems. Customer with productive system only receive the latest version every quarter. Well, SEC has interactive dashboard, which for sure is a great benefit. An analytic dashboard allows you to monitor key data and share powerful visualization and reports to tell the story of your business. Input control allows you to access the information without letting it be visible all the time. This gives a better visualization effect on dashboard. They allow you to filter data, compare figures, and explore relationships. Essentially, input controls allow you to optimize the space on your dashboard and condense a lot of storytelling potential cleanly and more concisely. In SAP Analytics Cloud, user can access such analytical content as stories and digital boardrooms. Besides, they can create homepage dashboards combining bits and pieces of different stories, presenting 360 degree of the business. Here, let us directly jump into the SEC to connect this information with some real examples. In my demo, I will first walk you through the interface. Then, I want to show you how to create a model and how to create a story, what kind of design options you have. And finally, I will show you a finished story how it could look like in cash management. The main functionality of SEC is on the left side of the main application page. From here, you can create data models or import them so that then to be able to create stories. In addition, you can also create processes and some other fun stuff. You can only create objects that you are authorized for. For example, you don't have planning licenses, you can't create a process. What is a data model or what is a story? To keep it very simple, stories are presentations based on data models that either comes from live data or have been imported. So basically, data models feed stories with data. Let us start creating a modeler. While creating a modeler, you have the possibility to create a new one or fetch data from different types of files, or fetch live data model, or build a modeler from a data source. In the last option, there you can see all the possible data sources which have been mentioned before. After creating the modeler, you can now create the story. I will start with the canvas option. Therefore, I can create the story based on charts, tables, images, shapes, and more. Furthermore, you have a calendar here, for example, and you also have some, let me say, admin stuff, as well as connections. This is where you can connect your SEC to your transactional system to enable real-time functionalities. Now, let us see how it looks like if you have finished building your story. Just to be sure, let me refresh this page. There, you can really see all your KPIs together. Therefore, you don't have to run several classic ERP reports to spreadsheets in Excel, do some pivot tables in order to figure out some integrative KPIs, let me say, and imagine to have all these also in real time. This is really fantastic, isn't it? You can always switch from view mode to edit mode to have some adaptations in your story. Like, for example, insert some charts, insert some tables, adapting your input controls, like filters. Let's have a look on the graph. In the liquidity one, we have two value indicators in the below shown KPI. One shows operating cash flow for third quarter of the year 2018, which also shows the variance in value as compared to third quarter of the year 2017. And one shows free cash flow for third quarter of the year 2018, along with variance in value as compared to third quarter of the year 2017. Below indicators, we have a trend line graph signifying trend lines of operating cash flow and free cash flow over different quarters of 2 consecutive years. And in the profitability reporting, we have the similar case. Furthermore, by opening Smart Insights on one graphic, you have the option to split down the graph into details, like split it by material, for example, and more. You can add as many pages as you want in one story. Let us get to the second part of the presentation. In this part, we will talk about cash management in S/4HANA. Cash management as a whole can be divided into two areas, depending on whether controlling long-term liquidity or short-term liquidity, namely cash and liquidity management or cash operations. Cash and liquidity management permits a treasury department to overview the cash operations and long-term liquidity trends and manage bank account master data centrally, giving a high-level overview and detailed insights into bank accounts, cash position, and cash flows. The function of cash operations is to enable short-term cash forecast review based on bank statements, to check the cash flow by navigating to the line item and manage bank transfers and outgoing payment by approval process. Other daily operation tasks include memo records, cash concentration, deficit, cash pools, etc. The bank relationship management enables a centralized management of bank accounts and performs the most common business operations related to bank accounts. The feature of bank account operations are manage banks, like for example, define, modify, close or reopen house bank accounts, and bank GL accounts, and define custom view by creating bank accounts groups, import or export bank accounts, as well as use SAP Business Workflow to control the process of creating, modifying, and closing bank accounts. Define payment approval control for payment approval process, manage cash pools and perform cash concentration, and generate automated notifications or correspondence to the bank for changes in master data. Well, what are the features within cash operations? First of all, there is cash position and short-term cash forecast. Based on the imported bank statements, you can gain an overview of cash position and short-term cash forecast and the current financial situation in your bank. Bank statement monitor, cash position, and cash flow items. Then there is bank-to-bank transfer. There it is possible to make interbank and track the detail of those transfer. Cash pooling is also something. Cash pools and transfer funds between the header account and sub-accounts to improve the efficiency of cash management. Next one is memo records. There, it is possible to create memo records manually and centrally for expected cash flows that are not yet generated in the system. Last but not least, bank account balance and cash flow comparison. It is possible to get an overview of the available bank account balance and cash position details and compare any two snapshots of forecasted cash flows in the past or compare the forecasted flow with the actual flows. Liquidity management enables to analyze actual cash inflows and outflows, forecast medium-term liquidity trend, and perform a rolling planning so that they can understand what payment obligations are to be fulfilled and whether they need to make investment or funding plans. Features within these areas are liquidity forecast analysis and actual cash flow analysis. On this slide, you can basically see all the main apps if you have assigned the role Cash Manager and Cash Specialist to your Fiori user. At this place, I think the whole thing would get a lot more interesting if we switch to Fiori and check out together what is going on there. So let's start the second part of my prepared system demo. For this demo, I'm using the S/4HANA with release 2020. Now it's time to have a look on couples of Fiori apps. First, you have to open your Fiori by entering the transaction code /n/UI2/FLP. Then it will be automatically opened in the internet browser. Let's do it together in this case. But instead, I prefer, to be honest, to use Fiori on Chrome because based on my personal experiences, it shows better performance and is more stable. So let's switch to there. And after opening Fiori, you can see all your apps on the Fiori dashboard for which you have gotten a role. Normally, to have the full functionalities in cash management, 2 roles at least have to be assigned to your user, namely cash manager and cash specialist. When this condition is fulfilled, you've got several apps to manage bank relationship, to manage cash operations, to manage liquidity and deposits. And when you going through all the apps, you might see some key KPIs directly on the surface of individual apps. While some are colored green, the others are colored, for example, red or also yellow. And this comes from your definition, while the green colored ones have good meanings. And the red colored ones might have bad meanings, like for example, you haven't reached your target. Let's check out what is possible in bank account management, or many also call it BAM instead of the long version bank account management. BAM is provided as part of SAP S/4HANA Cash Management as a cloud and on-premise version. The functional scope of BAM depends on your license of cash management. For the light version, you are only able to manage simple master record, including house bank integration. Not licensed functionalities are, for example, overdraft limits, clearing cash pools and accounts, directly activate release procedure, using foreign account report. Also, system-supported review process and hierarchies are not supported. These are only possible with the full cash management version. While selected transactions still remain in GUI, some others are completely replaced by Fiori apps. For example, this app, Manage Bank, replaces transactional code FI01, FI02, and FI03 in GUI. And by using this app, you are allowed to create banks manually. This would include bank keys, bank address, and control data, etc. As a result, you will get a simple list of all the banks in your system with this Fiori app. At the same time, you can also find a similar function in report RFBKVZ00, which lists the bank in the sub GUI. You can also directly spreadsheet to have all the master data listed in Excel file. Furthermore, you can manage your filter criteria by clicking on Adapt Filters. You can jump from there directly into other apps like Manage Bank Hierarchies. And also you can go to bank accounts, and from there you can directly get into Cashflow Analyzer, which shows you the daily status. And from there you can also get into the bank statement. Let me show you that. I will come back to these apps later. But before that, there's another useful functionality which I want to show you. And this is hidden within the app Manage Bank Accounts, namely Import and Export Bank Account. Let me show you that. It is there. There you are able to download templates, which is already prepared in advance. And by using this template, you can do mass master data import. Which I find pretty attractive. You just have to maintain your master data in the sheet and save it afterwards as XML data format for the import process. A little hint at this place, you have to upload the file as XML data format instead of the XML spreadsheet format, which is initially set. This is quite confusing and has caused me some problems once I have been trying out this functionality. Furthermore, there are lots of other apps in Manage Bank Relationships. Like, for example, you can create bank account hierarchies. You can check your inbox. You can review your bank accounts. You can review your sent requests. You can monitor bank fees and even more. Now, I would like to show the app Cash Position and Cashflow Analyzer. Both of them are primary apps that can be used for cash positioning and forecasting. Cash Position is real-time and is used to provide a high-level and dashboard-type view of your cash balances in SAP. Cashflow Analyzer gives us that next level of detail into the activities that make up your cash balances. If you're familiar with SAP Treasury on ECC, the Cashflow Analyzer is similar to FF7A and FF7B, whereas the Cash Position app is meant to provide a much higher level view of cash without getting into the individual line item detail. FF7A and FF7B is not available anymore since release 1909 and completely replaced by Fiori. Let's have a look on the app cash position. It is displaying 220 million euros. So this is all of your cash position flows converted back to euro using exchange rates we have already set up in our SAP system. We can drill into this even further and see what this 220 million euros is made up of. So now we have organized by bank countries. There are 3 countries that hold cash. We can also change this and use organize it by different company codes. Or banks. By this, we can see how we have cash distributed across our main banks. And now, let us get into Cashflow Analyzer app. Cashflow Analyzer identifies all processes and sources which have an impact on the actual and future cash flow and structures them according to your corporate needs. The main structure used in cash flow and liquidity report is the liquidity item hierarchy, which is maintained in the customizing. Liquidity item represent different sources of cash flow or balance value. Each item has a key, a description, and an assignment to the cash flow direction, like receivable as inflow and payables as outflows. To present your cash flow, status, and forecast, you can use the hierarchy, which you have built yourself. For this demo, I have built CM03 Leap. There you can create a top node and then assign the liquidity item, which you have defined in the customizing to the nodes. Let's have a look into the German company code WDE1. First of all, Cashflow Analyzer includes all data sources specified in customizing, for example, invoices, memo records, payment orders, payment requests, and so on. This one shows the opening balance on the top. Red arrow shows the outflow, and the green arrow shows inflows. The last line shows closing balances. In and outcome value include all actual and forecasted payments from invoices and other payment-related documents. In customizing, you can also define planning levels, which is integrated in each cash account to have a more detailed categorization. F1 is, for example, for posting of purchasing and sales. B9 is for customer cash receipt, and S1 is for sales order. The closing balance of the day is always taken to the next day. Another interesting stuff is how to filter the time period. There are time dimensions in days, weeks, months, quarters, years for short-term, mid-term, and long-term liquidity forecast. To see the forecast for the next 15 days, you can enter D15. Starting from 8th of September, for example. Now you can have an overview of the whole time period. And for example, to see forecast for the next month, you can enter M1. And for the whole year, you can, for example, enter Y1. Oh, my fault, my mistake, sorry. And for more detailed information of each value, you can place your mouse on it, click it, and jump directly into the detailed document. This is somehow not able to be opened. Now it works. So now you can see all the details all at once. Last but not least, we will have a look into the Liquidity Forecast app. Forecasts provide liquidity trend up to 90 days. And biggest advantage of this app is its flexible graphical representation of values. You can switch between charts and tables. And you are free to choose different chart types, like for example, pie chart, or line charts, or bar charts. Dimensions can be filtered in drill down to show value for specific key data. And you can have the report on different levels of dimensions as well. Like for example, showing it by split it by liquidity item. And data can also be downloaded to Excel. Well, everything good comes to an end, and that's it from my side, basically. I know there were lots of information and insights from different areas like SEC, S4HANA, Fiori, etc., which are, still closely connected to each other. I hope that I could meet your taste at least in one topic, so you can leave the session with happiness and satisfaction. And don't hesitate to ask questions. And for deeper questions and discussions, feel free to reach out by sending me an email.